So let's try to see like what we can make it better in terms of the framework. Because whenever we go for framework, we say that the redundancy will not be there. We basically have to write once and we can utilize it at multiple places. Right. So here, if you see in this particular test case that these two lines are repeating in each and every test cases, right? Which is like creation of object and then creation of then calling the launch URL, which is like launching the application in the browser. So these two lines are repeated in both of the test cases. And let's say if we have 100 test cases, in all the 100 test cases, these two lines will be common. So what we can do is we can take the help of hooks over here. So we have discussed this earlier, which is like we have different hooks. That means hooks is a predefined. Some of them this used to be a function or a method inside any inside like Playwright, which basically have some kind of different definitions. So if we talk about before all, then we have something like declares a before all hooks that is executed once per worker person. That means before executing any of the test cases, it will run once. Before each is like before it will run before running each and every test cases. After is after running each and every test cases, and after all is something which is which will run once after running all the test cases. Okay, so now what we can do here is in terms of login page, what we can do here is inside the login test, what we can do here is we can write a test dot before each instance. It will run before running each and every test cases. So what we can define it over here is like before each, and whatever is the common part that we can place it over here. Before each will not take any title. It will just take a function that we have discussed in the previous sessions. It will just take a function, and based on that function, it will try to execute whatever the code that we write inside this particular function. And also this will, as you know, like this will take a function. So we can directly provide the page fixture over here. And whatever the common part of each and every test cases are there, that we can write inside before each. So we can directly say, which is, let's say, these two lines. We can directly copy paste it over here. So what we are trying to do here is we're trying to create an object for login page and launching that URL. That is it. And again, we can remove this from both of the test cases. We can directly remove it from here. Now we know that this page fixture is used to create a browser context as well as create a new page inside a browser, right? So this page fixture, as we are already utilizing inside a before each, that means this whatever we have written over here, this will run once for each and every test cases. That means if we are trying to create object over, if we are trying to use page fixture over here, this will work before running each and every test cases. So at that point of time, we can basically remove this page from the test functions. It will automatically launch the application over here. So we do not require, again, this has to be launched in each and every test cases. Okay, any confusion over here?
No, Praveen.
No.
Okay, so this page we have removed it from the page and test level, and we have added at before each. And we also know that as soon as we have removed this like, which is like these two lines of the code, login page is throwing some kind of error over here. So it says that could not find name login page. Okay. So why it happen is because we try to declare this inside a before each. The scope will be till the curly braces, till the end of the curly braces for the test dot before each. So what we can do is we can define it as a global variable over here, and this global variable we can use to store the values. Now see, whenever I used const and trying to declare a global variable, it is throwing an error saying that const declaration must be initialized. At the time of going through the keyword inside uh, uh, JavaScript, with that, we understood that whenever we declare a constant variable, we also have to initialize the value. So that is why I've just changed this to let. Okay, you can just go through it like what is difference between var, let, and const. You'll get it in a better way. As we have discussed earlier, so var we use to reinitialize and reassign the variable, whereas let constant will uh, will not allow like redeclaration and reinitialization of the value, whereas let will allow only the reassigning, which is like reinitialization, but not redeclaration. That means you cannot redeclare same value once again. It's login page. So you cannot do that. But in terms of var, you can easily do that. Okay. So you can just go through with that once. So now if you see like the error on the login page have gone now. And so I've refactored some of the things. So let's try to run this whether it is running properly or not. So if you just try to run this command, which is like npx playwright test, and then the path of the test file, which is we are trying to generate with login page test. So you'll see, right? Two test cases are running. Two test cases will start running one by one. Okay. So both of them have been completely passed. So what did we do in today's session is we have just whatever the common lines or common sentence were there for the test script that we have taken inside the before each, where we say like it has to run once before running the test cases. So if you know that there are some of the features, like let's say if you have to initialize a file that will be taking that will be getting the data from. So that file you can basically initiate it inside before all, because even if you initiate it before each, that is okay. But we know that the file we can initialize once and we can use in all our test cases. So at that point of time, we can use before all as well. Okay. So this is one. Let's go back to the dashboard page where we have created a class, which is class dashboard page, and then we have to create a constructor. And also, as per the definition of the page object model, we know that whatever the locators that we have to write related to the dashboard page. In general, this one, let's say example, if you have to write the locators related to this page, we basically have to first initialize the page fixture. So that we can initialize using, we know that how do we like basically declare the variable inside a constructor. Okay, so using this dot page, and whenever we have to use this page variable outside of the constructor, we can again append it with this dot page equals to so and so. Okay. Now, let's do a couple of validation over here. One is we can say like add to cart once. Let's say whether the element, whatever the element that we want to search or the product that we want to search, we have to add it to the cart. So I think that test case we have already written earlier, which is like add to cart. Just format it. Let's see how do we format it. So we basically know that we have different product available on the page, and now we have to select one particular product and then click on add to cart. So this will be here. We know that like the assertion part will go inside the test cases. So inside the test case, so we'll just try to copy out this one and we'll make it inside a dashboard page by writing the method. So let's try to write a method which will say it as. We know that how do we write a method or function inside a class. So we'll say the name as search and add cart. And let me try to just paste it out over here. So here what we are saying is we are creating a product. That means a product variable, which is products variable, which is uh, trying to store a locator for all the products. So if you see this one, div.cart body inside this particular application, we'll see like this will be able to highlight all the different products that we have on the page. Okay. And here we are trying to get the values for the B for each and every product. What is B? So if you just give a space and B, then you will see like the product name for all the products will be getting one by one over here. Here we are just trying to print all the values, but this is currently, this basically is currently not required because we do not want to print the complete product name. I'll just search it out for one of the product, and then inside that will be for whatever the product that we want to select, we'll iterate through the for loop, and then we'll click on a add to cart button. So for that, this product variable will have an identification of all the product that it is displaying on the page, and then we are getting the count over here, and then iterating through the for loop and checking whether the nth of locator B. We know that on this particular product, as we are trying to change the locator method on this particular product's variable, and then we are trying to get the text value. So if you see this is like it will have an identification of all the product name. Okay, so that is what we are trying to do. We are chaining this particular, that means moving from child to parent to child. Here in the same, here also we are doing this products is having a parent locator, and on that we are trying to use locator, which is we are trying to find it out the child value, and then we are getting the text value, and this text value we are trying to compare with the product name. Okay, and then if the product name are same, then we are saying like go and click on the add to cart button. Okay, and then break the loop. Now we do not have to hard code anything inside the method. So what we have to do is we have to basically take this to the inside the constructor to initialize all the locators. So what we can say it as products equals to page.locator, this particular value. So we can directly remove this. We can directly remove this line from here. Now we have these are like dynamic elements itself. So if these are dynamic elements, so that we have to form at the time of declaring the product, at the time of finding the product itself. So we do not have to change anything over here because this locator is basically a dynamic element that we are trying to search it out on the product. Or if you try to write something like, let's say, for example, this dot name example equals to is dot locator, which is B. And then if you try to use it over here, which is like name, this will not throw you an error. But if we in general try to run, it might sometimes like will throw you an error saying that I'm unable to understand what is this name is over here. Because it says that we have to chain a locator on this particular parent parent locator. Okay, so this is in general a dynamic in nature. This will each and every time will go for other products and then we'll try to find it out whether the name is correct or not, whether something is correct or not, whatever we are trying to do in terms of the logic part. So this for now, let's keep it out whether it is working or not. We'll see if that is working, then we can write it in this way as well. But to make it dynamic, we always have to, it's always better to use it over here. Here also, it is the same things that we are trying to do, that we are trying to do on this particular page. So let's try to do it over here as well, and then see whether it is working or not. Add to cart button equals to this one. So we can make it as page store. Okay, and then again, let's remove it all for now, and then we'll see whether it is working or not. Add to cart button dot click, and then we are making it break, because if you have already clicked, that means we do not have to go further in the looping. Now we know that we are searching for a product, and that we are trying to also compare whether the product name that we have given is same or not. So this product name, we can take it as a parameter for search and add to cart method. So why I'm taking this as a parameter? Because we are trying to search some of the value, some of the product, and that product we are also matching inside the logic. So whenever we have to get a product, we can make it as a parameter so that this product value, whatever we'll try to search, will come from the dashboard page wherever we'll be writing the test cases for this. Okay, any doubt in till now for this?
No problem.
Okay, let's create a dashboard page test.spec.js. Here we'll be doing again the same kind of things, which is we will copy paste these two values because we require a login as well, login into the application. So we have to call the login page as well. We also have to call the dashboard page. So to call the dashboard page, we'll see it out how do we do it. Before that, we also require what kind of things? So we require a login value, which is username and password we require. These things we can store it from the file as well. That we'll see in today's session itself. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to store the value, and then also we can store a product name. So what we say the product name is as, let's say if we want to order, let's say for example, iPhone 13 Pro, that we can test it out, that we can check it out from here as well. Now we'll write the test.
One question. So here username and password we are giving, okay? So one of my interview questions means I have given an LTI my interview. So they asked like we are having in banking security domain that. So these things is coming the password test at the rate 123. Is there any way to encrypt this one?
Yes. Yes. So we can include this as well. Either you can do it manually or through the automation code as well. So whenever what you have to say is for that particular uh, answer, what you have to say is you have to use a base 64 encoder. And let's say if you just try to say it as, let's say, test at 123 and encode this, it will give you some of the value for this. For this particular things, it has given a value over here. So this we can directly copy paste in our code inside this one, which is like user password. And for that, at the time of calling this method, we can basically call a decoder method. So decoder in the sense, for base 64 decoder, there is a method called decode, which will again decode our value. So let's say at 123, it is encoding this particular value. And if you just want to decode it at that point of time, we can paste it out over here and just say like decode. And it will give you the exactly similar value. And that also I'll provide you the code, like how can we do in terms of Playwright. So that also I can provide you the value. I can provide you one of a method in our discussion.
In general, we are including Pramit. In general, we are giving from the file only directly username and password, whatever we are having, actual password and username. Okay.
Your voice is a bit breaking. Not sure if it is only for me.
Okay. We'll discuss this one. Just we continue, Pramit. We'll discuss this one later.
Okay. Right. I'll provide you the code for this, so do not worry about that.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So again, this we will take it from the file itself. So as we see, like we are writing the same thing inside the login page and writing the same thing inside the inside this dashboard page as well. But we'll try to figure it out a way, like where we can write inside the JSON file, and then we'll see how can we do that. And then we can write a test function where it will say, like, let's say, add a product to the cart, the title. And then we can write a page fixture over here. For what will be the first part? The first part, we have to launch the URL, right? So we can again write it inside test.before each. Before each will go inside all the files because it has to run before running the test cases. Before running any of the test cases. So we can directly write it like inside a page fixture over here, and then we can try it out, whatever the things that we have to do. So we can write like login page and declare it out. And for the dashboard page also, we can declare one variable so that we can create an object for those two pages as well. Whatever the page that you want to call inside inside any of the file, we have to create an object for those two classes. So let's see how do we create an object. So we know that we will be creating an object using the new keyword, new login page. And inside this, we have to give a page fixture to initialize this particular page. And in the same way, we can write for dashboard page as well. So as soon as you write, as soon as we write a locator for, as soon as we create an object, we'll see like this dashboard page will be imported automatically over here. So let's select that dashboard and we see like it has been imported automatically for us. And then we can initialize the page over here as well. And we know that we have to also launch the URL. So where is launching URL available? That is available inside login page. Okay. So that from there we can take the login page, and then apart from that, is there anything that is common for that will be common for each and every test case? No, I believe not. So add a product to cart. We have written a method which is search and add to cart. Here we are trying to do counting of the product first, then iterating through each and every product and getting the product name, comparing whether our product, this product text is equals to product name or not, and then that we are trying to add to the cart. Right. Let's try to call that. What we have to do is we can directly call the particular method that we have written to search dashboard page dot search and add to cart. This one display number. Right. So we can see this value is we do not require the page fixture again to be created over here. So as we're directly trying to store it over here, so we do not require again page fixture to be created, but we have to take the product name as a parameter over here as we have declared inside this particular method. If you see like inside the if you see this particular method, it is also accepting one of a parameter, that is product name. So that product name we are trying to provide at the time of calling that method. And then expect will go over here. So what we were trying to expect, we were trying to expect that there used to be a toast method which says that add to cart, right? So if you see here, if you click on add to cart, so this message appears which says that product added to cart. So what we can do is we can directly use that. We have to first initialize this particular locator. So it says that product dot locator. What we can how we can initialize, we know that we have to initialize it inside constructor. So we can say like add art information equals to this one, and we do not have to basically write any kind of expect or assertion part inside this particular page. The only thing that we can write it over here is like wait for this add to cart confirmation to appear on the page. Okay, so this we know that why do we use like wait for? That means we are saying that wait for this particular element to be visible on the page. And for the expect, we can write it inside this. So what we can do is we can directly like expect and then element. So where is this element available inside a dashboard page? That means a locator. So dashboard page dot what is the value is the value also here that we have to write. So it says that it is add to cart. Okay, so you can write add to cart confirmation. Okay, and then we are saying that this particular message, this particular element which we have already initialized inside the constructor, which is this one, have to be have to be, let's say, we can use like assertion known as to have text, what kind of text it is having. So we can directly copy paste from here whenever we click on add to cart. So it displays a message known as product added to cart that we can copy and paste over there, because we are trying to say that whenever this confirmation appears, whether that confirmation is having a message known as add product added to cart or not. Okay, and this we can, or as we know that on every steps we have to also provide that await. So whenever we use await, we have to provide the async as a function. Here also we have to use await. Okay, let's try to run and see whether it is running properly or not. We'll try to run only this particular class, which is dashboard based test. So dashboard based test started running, and it has given us some kind of values, some kind of error, which says that await products dot count. That means products is not defined. It is saying, why it is saying products is not defined. Let's debug it out. So inside this, it says that products is not defined. Let's try to see why it is saying products is not defined. So we have utilized this product, and we know that whenever whatever we initialize inside a constructor, if we have to use outside the constructor, we have to append this with this, right? So we have to use it this over here as well. We have to use this here as well, and for this as well we have to use this dot. For this as well we have to use again this dot, because we have stored inside this particular inside an object. Now you see, like as we want, like as we were trying to append this value over here, as we wanted to append the value, which is like this dot name that we have declared over here, which is this one. It is throwing us some kind of error saying that if you want, if at the time of, like, if we just want to write it inside a bracket, it is saying that identifier required. That means we do not require this to be placed it over here, but we have to use this because we know that this is basically identifying our object for this particular class. But if you see here it is not able to identify what is this, right? Though we know that this we have to use for the name, but it is not able to identify that what is this over here. So that's where I was saying, like whenever we have to append any kind of code, any kind of chaining of the locator, that we try to search from the parent to child, we have to directly write inside it over here. So here we can directly copy paste this value, and we can say directly dot locator b, instead of whenever we have to chain the methods at that point of time, we have to, whenever we have to chain the element at that point of time, we do not have to declare inside this one. We can directly use these values on top of wherever we are trying to write on top of the parent. Okay, so these are known as dynamic in nature, because we are trying to identify a parent, and then from that parent we are going to the child. So it is always acceptable to write inside the method itself. Wherever we are trying to write, that is acceptable to write inside any of the method itself, the dynamic allocators. Okay, so that's where I have removed it from here. And now let's try to check whether this is working or not. So we'll again run the same test case. So this time also there is some kind of issues. Let's debug what is the issue over here. So it says that this wait for is this wait for is not available. Why it is saying this wait for is not available? Because we missed writing the await before the text script over here. And now if you try to run the same code, see this is, I know like what I have done the mistake inside the script, but these are the things that I wanted to show you out in general. Whenever we try to write any kind of script at that point of time, you will also face this kind of issues. So how do we debug those values? That is where I wanted to like miss out some kind of things in the test script and show you like how in general it is working. Now if you try to run this code, let's see what is happening. So now see here also it is not able to check what is the login method that we have called. You know why it is happening? Anyone like if you can identify this? See, this is our dashboard page. This is our dashboard test page. Can you just identify? Okay. So that means we have not called the login method over here that we wanted to log in for. Okay. So that either we can write it inside before each, or we can write it inside the test cases as well. These things we have to call it out. If we have like more than one test cases, it's always better to write before each, because every time it will try to do the actions. Let's try to write it inside the dashboard test itself. Okay, and now this time it has to work in a proper way. As we have called everything, it will fill the username, password, and it will try to click on add to cart. Add to cart message appeared, product added to cart appeared, and it have been successfully implemented. Okay. So here, probably like what you can do is you can try to add a product to the, try to view the details of the product. Let's say, for example, Zara Code 3, if you want to just check it out, like whether it has the same product name, it has the same price or not. You can just, instead of clicking on add to cart as we have done over here. So in terms of this, if I talk about, so in terms of clicking on add to cart, let's try to complete that as well. So here we'll say it as search and view the product. Search and view product details. So here this will be same because we are trying to identify how many number of products are there. Then we'll iterate through each and every product, whatever the products that we'll be having. We'll get the text. If the text is matching, then if whatever the text we'll get, we'll try to match it with the product that we are trying to search. And if it is matching, then we can say directly, instead of add to cart, you can directly click on the view button, which is this one. And now here also we have to check it out whether this, let's say, I'm just trying to identify it, and then from there you can continue. So I'm just trying to identify whether this Zara card is Zara code 3 is basically the same text that we were trying to search it out or not, same element name that we were trying to search it out, and click on the view button. So we have something known as div and h2. Let's try to figure it out better, whether it is like div is the parent and h2 is the child. So it is able to identify one particular element, right? So from here, what we can do is, here we have to initialize again. So this dot, let's say it has view page dot name equals to page dot locator, and then at the locator over here. And whenever we have to use this value, so what we can say that first wait for this particular element to appear, or wait for any element, not only this one. We can say like, let's say wait for continue shopping to appear. Let's say, for example, wait for continue shopping to appear. So it is having a class as continue, like, or let's see whether it is identifying as a single. So if you have a class that we can directly use with dot, we have two values over here. So no worries, we can directly use dot first over here as well. So let's initiate this one, which says that is this equal to page dot locator. We can say it as continue shopping, which is which will continue shopping. Let's name it as continue shopping button. Okay, continue shopping button. Here, this we can say that wait for this particular element to appear on the page, not here. In general, here appear on the page. Wait for the element to display this value. That means it will, as soon as it displays the values, we will be sure that this has moved to some other page. And here again, we can write another test case, which will be view of product detail. I'm just trying to check like the text value on the product name, that it is same or not. But in general, you can try to do other things as well. So let's move this now valid login page inside the each before each. We'll remove it from here as well. And here we'll say that what is the value search, what is the search and view product details is the method name. Are you people following the session, or how is it?
Yes, Praveen.
Yes,
Okay.
Praveen.
And then we can say that what we have to do it over here is the variable that we have declared, which is let's say if we are waiting anyways. So what we can do is we can get the text value from this. So we'll say like this dashboard dot view page product name to have a text. What kind of text? So whatever the product name that we have searched it out. So this should be the product name text over here. Okay, so we are just trying to assert over here saying that this particular element, whatever we are trying to identify, having a text. What kind of text? The product name that we had declared. Okay, now let's try to run and see how it is happening. So let's make it as false so that it will run one by one, or else it will run in a parallel. So whenever you write fully parallel equals to true, that means each and every test case will run in a parallel mode. If you make it as fully parallel equals to false, at that point of time, if we have multiple pages, those multiple pages will run in a parallel. But inside the page, let's say, for example, inside this page, we have two test cases. So if you make it as like, let's say fully parallel, full and true, then in this case, every test case will try to run in a parallel mode. Okay, but if you make it as false, then in that case, these like if you have different number of files, then those files will run in a parallel mode, whereas the test cases will go like inside a file, all the test cases will go one by one, the sequentially. That means whatever the order that you have given will run in that order. So first it will run add a product to cart, and second it will run view a product details. Okay, let's try to run and see how it is working over here. So we have said npx playwright test dashboard page. So it is saying running two test case using one worker. That means it will first add to the cart, then again launch the page, and then view the product, and it have been successfully passed. Right. So here we have seen like we have written two test case and both have been passed. Let's make it as true. We saw that one by one it has launched. Let's make it as true and then see how it is working now. So both of the test case launch at one time. Both of them are running now. If you see, there are two windows have been opened. Okay. So this is what happened when we make fully parallel equals to false or fully parallel equals to true. Okay, and now if we just say like we have written 4 test cases till now, right? Dashboard page is having 2 test case, and then login page is having 2 test case. So let's try to run all the test for let's say we just try to run all the test cases. It will run entire test cases that we have in. So if you see like npx playwright test, if you just try to enter this, whatever the number of test cases that we have, it will run each and every test cases one by one. One by one in the sense, some of them will start with like there are 8 workers by default. It will start. That means this will start 8 test cases at one point of time. Okay, so this is running in a headless mode. So we'll see like it will complete like all the 28 test cases and will try to display the results. So I would have given this. Okay, anyways, like we'll just see like how it is working. So there are couple of failures as well. That is fine. But it is trying to print out, trying to check each and every, trying to run each and every test cases over here. So it says that 22 have been passed and 6 have been filled. That is fine. I mean, we can check it later. There might have been something change inside our test cases. So that's fine. That is okay. So, but we see like within 1.4 minutes, that means within like around 84 seconds, right? So within 84 seconds, all the 28 test cases have been completely passed, and with like making it as a fully true. So in terms of whenever we make it as fully true, 8 test cases at one time, it will start running the test cases. Okay. So this is one thing we can also check, like the reports that it had generated. It is saying first test case with fixture, these are the validations. And if you see like why it has been failed, will also give you the complete details. So it says that exceeded a time of 20 seconds, which is saying for the after hooks, there might be some kind of issues for that. It might have taken more than 20 seconds time to launch the URL. If we say for this one, it might have been the same issues over there. But whatever the issue is there, it will try to give you. So for example, here it is waiting for the T-body to display, but it is not displayed. Here on the mouse over, it says that we are trying to hover on this, but it is not available. Might have been some kind of issues over here as well. And so on. So it will give you complete details of all the values. It is saying here that it might have not moved to the next page. Might be something probably will have to wait over here. As I said earlier, like if the application will become slow at that point of time, we have to always wait for an element, and then we can do some kind of validations. And other validation it have successfully done. So we can select check login with valid, add a card, add a product to the card, view product details, and so on. This have been completely successful. And also we can see it has generated the videos. It has generated also the did we not write the screenshot? So if you write screenshot inside a configuration file, then it will also generate a screenshot for that as well. So we have a couple of more minutes time where we'll see like how do we generate the screenshot for each and every steps. So whenever we write screenshot colon this on, that means it will keep on validating the values. It will keep on checking whenever whatever the test case it will run for that, it will try to take the screenshot automatically, take the videos automatically. Trace on first retry, it says that whenever a test case failed, whenever we try to retry the failure test cases, at that point of time, it will generate the test trace, but let's make it as on. So what is meant by trace is where we have seen like it will try to generate the complete details of the steps, right? So it did not display, it did not retry as well. So that means whenever we make trace as on, we have seen like some. I'll show you that. Just press this, and let's say if you just want to retry, then how many times you want to retry? That we can give it like 2 times or 3 times or whatever number of times that we have to retry. Retry in the sense if a test case have been failed, if you want to rerun the test case again, we can declare how many times we have to rerun the test cases. This is basically in terms of CI/CD pipeline. We also can declare for normal running, which says that we have to write it inside. So if you just want to retry it, or we can say how many times we have to retry. Whenever we declare this, it will say like we have to retry the field test cases 2 times or 3 times or 4 times, whatever the number of times that we have to retry. Okay, that we can also declare over here. This one is for the CI/CD pipeline. Inside the CI/CD pipeline, whenever we run, we try on CI only. It says that. Okay. So this is all about generating the report in HTML, trying to write like the framework, which is page object model. From here, what you people can do is I'm just trying to give you an assignment, which is try to write a few test cases for orders page, few test cases for card page. And at one point of time itself, you try to run all the test cases so that you will see the advantage of writing this in page object model. Okay, in next session, we will try to see how do we generate an LUO report. Currently, we are only generating a HTML report, which we can see here inside the report. It says that we are only generating the HTML report. In the next session, we'll see how do we generate LUO report. Basically, Playwright does not support directly LUO report. We have to import a value, which is import like LUO report. And then from there, we'll see like how it is generating the LUO. LUO report will be displayed like this. Most of the organization people following LUO reporting nowadays because it is like visually appealing. So we'll see that in the next session. Okay, so any question for